Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I apologize. This is just going to be kind of short. This is kind of something neat that I know Illustrator does. I know we're getting kind of off of the free programs, but this is kind of neat. I got CS6 here. I'm pretty sure it works with CC. Not sure about CS5. I think it did in CS5 too. But this is kind of a cool thing that some may find practical, some may not. That's why it's kind of a quick tip. This is not really a demo on learning how to use Illustrator, just showing you a feature of Illustrator that could be useful when you're doing some design work. Now, I'm getting ready to start this, and while I'm doing it, we'll talk through what I'm getting ready to do. All I'm doing is doing a fictitious logo. Now, if this company does exist, I do apologize. I'm just trying to get something real quick here, real quick and dirty, so I can get this done, just to show you folks what you can do. Excuse me. My wife got over a real bad cold, and I think I'm catching it, so if I cough, I do apologize. What I'm doing here is I'm setting up like a basic logo for a fictitious company off the top of my head, Ocean Wave Sports. Now, like I said, if this does exist, I do apologize in advance, because again, I'm just trying to do this as a quick demo. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my shear tool here in just 1 second. There it is. I already used it before, that's why I was able to. There we go. Now just kind of, I know it kind of looks ridiculous, but I'm just trying to show something real quick. Actually, I would love to rotate that out a little bit. There we go. That's close enough. Now, what I like to do is put like waves in here. Now, with other programs like Corel, I've demonstrated Inkscape, and a few others, when you go to make shapes into one, or merge them, or they call it welding, Corel Draw calls it welding, Inkscape calls it a union. These are all path operations. Basically, you're taking several objects to make one. I do apologize for my dog barking. She obviously found something outside that was worth her time. But I'm getting ready to do the same thing, but Illustrator, if you do a quick little thing, it can stay dynamic, which means that with it being dynamic, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff with it. And I'll show you here in just a second. First, I want to take my thing here. I want to copy it to the clipboard. I'm going to go Control F in Illustrator, which means paste in front. I'm going to change this to a different color. I'm just going to double click on my swatch here, and we'll go dark blue. Looks nice. Now I'm going to grab my ellipse tool. I'm just going to draw an ellipse. Like I said, this is not in any way a video on using Illustrator. I'm just showing a feature of Illustrator. I'm going to copy this object across a few times to simulate some ocean waves. Whoop. It'd be nice if I actually grabbed my object first. There we go. That's good enough for now. Now, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take these three and go into the Pathfinder palette. Excuse me. This is where you get to take the shapes and move them around, manipulate them, do what you need to do with them in order to take several objects and make one. Now, I'm going to do this function here, which is basically unite. Now, instead of just clicking on it, see if I click on it, it does like Inkscape will do, it will do like Corel Draw will do. It's now one shape, which is fine enough. But say like if you need more flexibility, what do? Well, you can try to add nodes and subtract nodes and do everything else. But what if I told you there was a dynamic way of changing the shape? And you'll see what the flexibility is here in a second. So I'm going to undo that. And with all of them selected, I'm going to come back over here, but look at the little note that pops up. It says Unite. Alt-click to create a compound shape and add to shape area. So I'm going to hit Alt, and click. Okay, it did the same thing, and if you don't believe me, I'll click off of it, click on it again. Look what happens when I add a stroke. Let's add a black stroke here, and I'll increase the stroke width in my stroke palette just for demonstration. See, notice how the stroke now follows all three of these objects as one unit. Look here. See, if I click on the object, it shows 3 units, but it's only doing the outside perimeter because Illustrator thinks now it is one object, which is kind of cool, huh? I can actually go inside this object, grab this object, and look what happens to the outline. See, the outline moves. See? And then you can come out of that isolation group and see, it's still there. But I'm going to undo this for a little bit. Take away that stroke. Undo, 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 undo. One more time. Okay, cool. Okay, I should be right back to where I was. Let's find out. Yep, I am. Undo that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and the text object, go back to my Pathfinders, and this time I'm going to say, hey, look, I want the intersection. I want the bottom half. So I'm going to do the same thing, Alt and click. See, now look what happens. Now, since I've duplicated the text and applied this to the duplicate that's sitting on top, we could do this. Now, the thing is let's just change that black here. If you click on it, you're going to get the first object. If you hold Control and click again until you look at your color swatch here, see it's black. That's the one I want. Now I can double click on that, and let's change it to a more ocean-like color. Let's go something here. There we go. I know, guys, not the prettiest in the world. We're not going for pretty here. I'm just showing you something. Say like you say, okay, this is what, the client roughly wanted. The client looks at it and goes, well, can we have like, one swell bigger than the other? Can we do some other things to it? Traditionally, if you save this file, unless it's got some sort of a history function or some other way of doing it, you're going to either have to start again or do something different. Now, if you did it like this in Illustrator, watch this. I'll click on the object in question. Okay, now I can still manipulate it this way, but he's talking about like making the swells different. So I'm going to get my direct selection tool here. I'm going to actually click on this node right here and watch. I can make this one a little bigger, make this one a little smaller. By moving the whole object down, I can move the object in to make the waves not so uniform. Like this. Maybe make this one a little taller by moving it. Again, I can change the swell just by isolating a node. Make it more roundish like that. Again, get out of the object. And notice real quickly how I did that. Or they come back and say, it's a little too high. Can you move that down now? You could probably maybe do that. But look at what Illustrator allows you to do. Since it is dealing with just one object, I can just nudge it down using the arrow keys. So I can nudge down the whole object, which doesn't look good. Which, if you're going for a weird look, I mean, hey, if that's what the client's wanting you to do is do something kind of weird and strange, you could, but I wouldn't. So I'm just going to get us back to where we were. As you can tell, I kind of nudged it quite a bit. Alright. But I want to move the whole object. So what I need to do is with the black tool, just double click into it. Click the shape. Now I can move just that shape down. And watch what happens. See, now I can modify the shape. I can compress it. Modify it even more. So you got a lot of choice when you're dealing with this. And again, we can come back out. And there you go. This is the feature I was wanting to show you, is where it basically will allow you to have unlimited flexibility if you use that Alt key on those first 4 Pathfinder options in Illustrator. Now, if you do like the look of it and you really want to nail it down, you can always Get rid of that functionality. You can go to the Pathfinder palette. Okay, because when you have an object selected, you can always just click expand. But if that option is not available, if you go over to, I believe it is object, yep, expand appearance. Now, as you notice on the screen, you got all your dots. Now, this is no longer applicable. If I was to double click on here, yes, inside of a group, but it's a group of individual letters. See, that's just one path now. I cannot no longer manipulate the ovals or do anything in there with it. It's now, nodes is now a shape. It's done. So I thought that was kind of a neat little feature of Illustrator. Like I said, this was kind of quick. I know it's not the prettiest thing to design real quickly, but I did want to show you guys that if you're lucky to have Illustrator, I think it's CS5 and above, you have that feature that could really help you design shapes quickly and allow flexibility. And I'll do just one last quick one. I'll do a star here. Oh, let's raise the points up. You can raise the points up and down, by the way, dynamically by while you got your left mouse button still pressed while drawing the shape. You can hit up or down. Okay, there's that. I'm going to add we'll add a circle to this. Let's grab the ellipse tool. Do a little circle. I'm going to do a perfect circle, so I'm going to hold down on shift. Okay, and I'm going to change that to white so I can see it better once it's on the object. There we go. Now, I don't want to get that, so I just want that plus this. Now I'm going to use this Pathfinder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say minus front. But I'm going to hit the Alt key again. Look what happens here. Now that's actually punched a hole through my object. Don't believe me? Well, it's time to put the proof down again. So draw a rectangle. Make it some weird color. Let's go for something that will hurt the eyes. Well, not, I guess some people won't hurt their eyes, but I believe a little too much for me. Let's go with pink. There we go. We'll move this over, and then I gotta move this to the front. Arrange, move to front. Okay. But notice if I click off, see that hole is still punched out. Now this is the reason why dynamic is being good. Say like if you're designing something to have a hole cut out of it for whatever reason, and say like you need to move that hole. Well, in other programs, because of this function not being in it, you'll have to undo all that, go back in and redo it. See, with this, all I gotta do is zoom in with Illustrator, click this, move this object to here. See, now I got a hole here. Now watch this. I can even duplicate the object while here. Look what it's doing. I'm punching more holes. Super quickly, super easily, without having a lot of issues, without having to group them all and then do the function and everything else. Look at that real quick. Excuse me again. Now get out of it. Look. Holes. How quick is that? How beautiful can that actually help you when you're designing something and you need to use shape functions? I'm sorry, but that's actually pretty cool. I wish Corel and some of the others that I use do it, but that's why I use multiple programs, folks. You know, not everybody can, and that's understandable, but whoops. I need to get out of this completely. Okay, we'll select this, go down here, and I'll even show you that it's dynamically changed. Let's make it something really kind of gaudy. See? Boom. See, I accidentally erased one of those things, but if I did, that's no big deal. Go in here, grab that. Grab this, go to here. Okay, come out of the shape. Here we go. No problem. No problem. But there you go, folks. I think that's a cool little feature that Illustrator will offer. I hope that others will maybe take a look at this, and hopefully if they're with these other companies and say, hey, that we might want to do that, that can be really cool to do. But however, you can still design in Illustrator, like with Corel and everything else, where once you click on those little buttons over there, the modes are more or less permanent. You're done. So, thank you guys for watching this quick little tip. I hope it was quick anyway. And I'll see you next time.